Marine Corps. The Continental Congress established the Marines on November 10th, 1775, in the lead up to the American Revolution. The first recruiting headquarters was in the Tun Tavern on Water Street in Philadelphia. That is considered to be the birthplace of the Marines. The Marines are the only branch of the military that does not have a shortage of recruits right now. And joining us now with more on the birthday is U.S. Marine and 49th Congressional District candidate Kate Monroe. Good morning, Kate. Good to see you again.
Yeah, glad to be here on the Marine Corps birthday.
Okay, so at what point did you realize you wanted to be a Marine?
Well, funny story. I was in college and I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to be yet, like a lot of people do. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go serve my country, get a good testimony, get some, hardship and resiliency under my belt. So I was going to go in the Air Force, but the Air Force recruiter was nowhere to be found. Maybe that's why they have a recruiting crisis. I don't know. And the Marine recruiter was so happy to come out and talk to me. He was a good salesman, and it was the best decision that I ever made. I would never unwind that decision. It was great.
You wore the uniform, and when you look back now, you're once a Marine, always a Marine. But
Correct.
When you look back now, how does it strike you, your decision that you made? Would you have done anything differently?
I absolutely would not. I mean, I have said, many times on the news, I faced a lot of adversity. I got assaulted. I smashed my face, broke my right elbow, my right ankle. But I'm going to tell you, facing that adversity made everything else in my life easy. And to be able to say that I was in the Marine Corps is really something. It's different than just saying I served in the military. A Marine will always say, I'm a Marine. I was in the Marine Corps. And to be able to say that has been a defining thing in my life. I mean, I think even as I run for Congress, it really sets me apart from, all of my fellow Republican candidates, because I'm the only one of us that served, especially, and also served in the Marine Corps. So it was the best decision I ever made. What
do you think is the reason that the Marines are the only branch of service that are not having a recruitment problem?
Well, I think that they've held their esprit de corps. They've held a certain standard. They want it to be hard to get into the Marine Corps. I mean, the Marines are first to tell you, nope, you don't make the cut, because we have to be battle ready. Every single Marine goes through the entire training to be a grunt. Even if your job is something else, like I was in the intelligence field, you still go to warfare training. You still learn how to fire every weapon, how to throw a grenade. I mean, every single one of us could go to battle and be on the ground, and that's really the difference. And so when people look at the services and they come from a lineage of Marines, they're going to stay in that track. And if they look at all the other services right now with their wokeism, the Marines don't have that problem. So they're like a bat signal to everybody who wants to be in an esprit de corps type of service.
One thing that's always struck me about the Marine Corps, apart from others, is, and I want you to talk about this a little bit, the amphibious nature of the Marines.
Well, I mean, I think we're attached to the Navy. Right? We're partly the ground fighting force, but tactically, in order for us to get anywhere we need to go, especially if it's not here, just in the United States, anywhere offshore, we're going to be taken there by the Navy. You're not just going to, the battleship can't park itself, all the way up to the land. So we go, a lot of Marines will be out with SWCC. A lot of Marines will be doing things with other Navy SEALs. So the amphibious warfare that we do, people don't realize, they think that's only the Navy, but the Marines have many, many specialized forces, and we will get to the ground however we have to.
Well, and that's an interesting comparison. When the Marines go into battle, it's a Navy hospital corpsman that's going to go in.
Correct. Right? And we would say that a Navy corpsman is basically a Marine. I mean, a lot of corpsmen have combat PTSD. They're fighting right alongside these guys, doing everything they can to keep them in tip-top shape when they're out in battle.
What would you say to a young person right now who's looking for direction like you once were in life, about even if they're considering going into the Corps?
I would tell them absolutely do it. Even if it seems like a stretch for you and you're not even that athletic. I was fairly athletic in high school, but this summer I spent 3 months running every day, swimming every day, doing pull-ups, getting myself, fitness level ready to go into the Marine Corps. I would tell you, anybody can be a Marine if you want to go all in. If you're willing to put in the sweat and the tears and the hardship that it's going to take, it will define your life. It will completely change the trajectory. I tell people, like, whatever path you're on, go into the Marine Corps, you're going to have a different final destination than you would otherwise, and you're more likely to become a CEO. You're more likely to become an entrepreneur, a business owner, something big in your life if you tackle that first.
And it's always interesting when I go to MCRD to the graduation closet, when they're marching, you can tell they've all had the same training and food for the last 3 months. They're all just dialed in.
Oh, cookie cutter. I mean, it's so funny when parents, I remember when my parents went to see me, it took them a while to find me. I mean, it completely revolutionizes who you are. I mean, I had a Marine tell me the other day, a Marine Corps veteran, his son, he just watched his son graduate, and he said, I just can't believe how it completely revolutionized him. Like, he went in a kid and he came out a man. He goes, it was just really something that made them cry, and it was just, it's impressive what happens when you go serve. And
in closing, is there anything you would like to say to your fellow Marines on this 248th birthday?
I would just like to say happy birthday, Marines. Of course, our service was born in a bar. Totally makes sense, especially when you see us out in town today. But just have an awesome day. Ura and Semper Fidelis.
All right. Kate Monroe, thanks for coming in and sharing, Kate. We appreciate it.